Good evening, good evening to all of you who are coming into the Zoom room, and good evening to those of you who are watching on our Livingstone College live stream. I am your host tonight, Justin Wade from Livingstone College. I'm majoring in religion and philosophy, and I have the privilege of serving as the 93rd Student Government Association president. And it is my honor to be able to work with all of you who are here in the Interfaith Youth Corps as we are seeking this summer to spread the word and the news concerning the COVID-19 vaccine. As the world strives to increase availability and accessibility to the COVID-19 vaccines, as many institutions of higher learning are engaging in measures to secure and protect their populations, also many organizations are answering the call, whereas the Interfaith Youth Corps has embarked upon a journey to train emerging leaders and students known as Faith in Vaccine Higher Education Ambassadors. Tonight, you will hear from 4 of those ambassadors as they represent their institutions who are answering the call of our 46th President of the United States of America, President Joe Robinette Biden, who recently declared that between June 4th and July 4th will be a month of action with the goal to increase adult United States vaccination rates to 70% by Independence Day. As there are over 120 campuses and over 2,000 ambassadors engaged in this outreach opportunity sponsored by Interfaith Youth Corps, tonight our programming features ambassadors from the Livingstone College in Salisbury, North Carolina, Southern University A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina, and York College in Queens, New York. I'm from New York, by the way, shout out to New York. The student ambassadors are based on the community health worker model and are trained to engage people through their religious and ethnic communities. Ambassadors serve as messengers who offer a valuable touch point to the initiative. They provide a listening and sympathetic ear to understand concerns and relatable fact-based scientific information about the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine with a values-centered inspiration about the importance of receiving it. So let's meet our panelists and our moderator. First and foremost, and I did inform him, I'll take personal privilege in introducing this young man who I have the privilege of knowing and serving with, William McCorn. I could call his whole government, but I'm not going to do that. But he is my brother, my friend. We both have the privilege of being a part of the greatest fraternity in the world, the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, by way of the Gamma Mu chapter at Livingstone College. He is a senior sociology major here. He is an experienced speaker, content creator, and scholar with a passion for serving communities that have traditionally been silenced. In addition to being a Tom Joyner Hercules Scholar and a UNCF Education Reform Fellow, William McCorn is a co-founder of the family, I want to make sure I get this right, Griot Agency, and an initiate, as I mentioned, of the Gamma Mu chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Will, please greet the people. Your mic is on. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone. I hope to have a great conversation tonight.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, bro. Next, we have Serenity T Graham. Serenity T Graham is a junior psychology major at Voorhees College. Serenity is a well-rounded student whose hobbies include singing, journaling, modeling, mentoring, reading, shopping, creating fashion, and eating. She enjoys spending time with family and is passionate about working with children. A former Miss Freshman at Voorhees College, Serenity plans on continuing her education to pursue a degree in psychology, mass communication, to fulfill her dreams of becoming a professional teacher and television personality. Serenity, would you please greet the people?
Great evening, everybody. I'm so thankful to be on this panel full of great leaders. I pray and I hope that this conversation will be nothing but amazingness. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Serenity.
Thank you.
Doravia Douglas, next, is a senior biology major and psychology minor at Southern University A&M College. She serves in a host of student and honor organizations and is active in her community. Most of all, she is a native of quaint Woodsville, Mississippi, where she will return after her matriculation at Morehouse School of Medicine. Doravia, would you please greet the people?
Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be a panelist on tonight's event. I hope that everyone finds some knowledge to take off from this event and share within the communities. And thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Michelle Williams, the last of our panelists, and then I'll move to our moderator, but Michelle Williams of York College is a junior studying psychology. Michelle is a Percy E. Sutton SEEK, which stands for Search for Education, Elevation, and Knowledge Scholar, who loves to volunteer in food pantries and distribute nourishment throughout her community. As an inspiring physician, Michelle plans to be a healthcare provider for at-risk and historically marginalized communities. Michelle, would you please talk to us?
Hi, everyone. I would like to thank you for allowing me to speak here today. I would hope that, we have productive and beautiful conversations on how to help our community and how to progress it further into the sciences and develop a beautiful relationship, not only with the sciences, but also to build a better relationship, not only with ourselves, but also with God. So I look forward to chatting with you guys today.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And before we move to our moderator, I do want to give a special shout out to Dr. Datavia Parrish, who has been working here with the Livingstone College branch of student ambassadors, who has helped put this program together. And if you ask what capacity she serves in at Livingstone, not only is she an incredible teacher, but she is the everything lady that we go to. We barge into her pink and green office because she is a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And I love Dr. P. Dr. P, if you have anything you would like to say to us tonight before we move to our moderator. If not, we can get on, but I did want to shout out my fam and my sister tonight on here with us. You have anything to say, Dr. P? You're just going to wave in the Zoom room? She shook her head no. It's all right. She waved at us. Our moderator for this evening is the Reverend Sam Brown. He is a native of Knoxville, Tennessee, and the pastor of the historic Logan Temple African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. Shout out to all of the AV Zion members and students. Reverend Brown is an alumnus of Livingstone College and currently serves as the youngest president, serving in the history of the NAACP's Knoxville, Tennessee branch's history. Moreover, Reverend Brown serves as the international chairperson of young adults in Christian ministries in the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will now turn our program over this evening to our moderator, to the Reverend Sam Brown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade, for your very kind introduction and your overall remarks regarding the program. You should be commended for your scholarship. And also congratulations to you, sir, as you embark upon your new role as student body president of my beloved alma mater, Livingstone College. I wish you well in your new position and pray that you will live up to the tenets of servant leadership that we learn as we matriculate beneath thy maples and thy oaks. Thank you to Dr. Parrish for extending this invitation, and we're so delighted to be sharing with all of these bright young minds on this evening. Just getting right into the conversation, as we examine the higher learning educational experiences and the impact the global pandemic has had on the lives of undergraduate college students, York College, as an institution situated in New York, one of our first states that was frequently featured on the news due to consistent impact of the coronavirus, from curfews to travel bans, and even at one point, the city was on lockdown with a stay-at-home order. Tell us, Michelle, how did this directly impact your campus?
I'm so glad you asked that question. So in regards to the direct impact of the campus, I'm pretty sure you heard of Governor Cuomo signing an executive order that basically shut down the schools in order to reassess whether or not schools should be open for the duration of the school year, as well as trying to limit the spread of COVID-19. As you also very well know, based on the news, Governor Cuomo made it clear that since New York was in a urban area, where we live in a city, of course, we're very close together, we're very compact. So the virus is going to easily spread from person to person. And with that being said, Bronx is one of the hardest hit areas in New York City. Due to the fact that one, Bronx, based on the zip codes in the Bronx, not only did they have very low access to good healthcare or good doctors at all, they weren't able to access a doctor, which basically led to people dying and unable to receive current care. But on top of that, Governor Cuomo also led the I'm sorry, I get so nervous. But Governor Cuomo led the way in terms of assigning executive orders to limit the curfew, shut down businesses, to limit the spread of the viruses. Restaurants were shut down and limited to delivery or limited to outdoor dining. But in New York City, as of March 2020, we started looking at the charts, and based on the daily briefings that Governor Cuomo was having, you saw that New York City was suffering higher death rates, higher transmission rates, which basically led to New York being the hardest hit, and we had to have a travel ban from other parts of the country that were suffering very heavily from the virus, and as well as trying to limit the spread of COVID-19. But the reason why he had shut down the schools was due to the fact that students are very compact, they're together. So it was very easy for students to spread the virus, and he knew that that was the one way to help contain COVID-19, but also it was to help us not only quarantine, but also to help us make sure that we can limit the spread of the virus as much as we can. And I understand very well that even though New York led the way in the effort to limit the spread of COVID-19, we still had a very high death rate in New York. We had about 1,000+ deaths per day. And you heard a lot of victims of COVID-19 and people being on ventilators, people recording their last words. You had the overrun of hospitals in in New York City, and people being buried in mass graves, people being put into refrigerated morgues, which impacted us very, very heavily, right? We're not used to funeral homes being overwhelmed. We're not used to our hospitals being overwhelmed. We're not used to seeing our family, not being able to see our family members and not being able to visit our family in nursing homes. So, with that being said, when Governor Cuomo was having his daily briefings, it allowed us to not only understand the gravity of the situation at hand, but it also helped us understand that there is a way to bounce back from the pandemic, such as having a mask mandate, such as leading the way in the vaccination effort, making sure that our elders, people who are 65 and older, got the vaccine first, because they were the ones the most vulnerable to the to the coronavirus. And he made sure step by step, he made the vaccine available to those who are vulnerable to the coronavirus. And in that sense, he made sure that when he had the mask mandate, he made sure that even if you are vaccinated, you still had the mask to make sure you keep your family safe. You make sure you had the vaccine. He made sure that here is what the vaccine does. Here are the vaccines that are available. Here are the ways that you can get the vaccine. And he also led the way in making sure those who weren't, who lived below the poverty line and those who were not able to access very good health care were able to access vaccination sites, because in the beginning, it was very difficult for people to access vaccination sites due to the reason that they were very far and people had mobility problems, right? You had people that were stuck in their homes and were unable to get the vaccine. So he made sure that people that had mobility problems, people who had problems, people who had problems trying to get the vaccine, he made sure that there were vaccination sites in parks or in the Jacob Javits Center, other parts of New York and other parts of the state. So yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for capturing your experience at York College for us. Serenity, South Carolina was making its mark in modern politics in the beginning of 2022 with the presidential elections. In fact, saving the candidacy of President Joe Biden after he secured an endorsement from Congressman James Clyburn. Joe Biden is quoted to have said, "South Carolina gave us wings." This was a brief moment of celebration as COVID reached the state of South Carolina in March of 2020, and by April 2nd has spread to all 46 counties, according to the state's Department of Health and Human Services. What did this mean for the students at Voorhees College?
Absolutely. Honestly, where I'm from Minnesota, it impacted me including, but also everyone at Voorhees College in a huge way, considering that we weren't able to, everything has drastically changed. We went from being normal students, going to class, getting up, hanging out, doing this, XYZ, to not being able to do anything. So as far as a drastic change, it changed the lives of us, even visiting family members. And it's mentally changed the way that we learn. We went from, again, being to in class learning into now we're sitting behind a computer screen hours trying to, complete assignments or turn them in or do whatever that's needed so that we can get through college and get a degree. But honestly, that's pretty much it. I guess I could say, from being normal to not being normal has drastically changed everybody at Voorhees, not just me and where I'm from and anybody else that's from South Carolina. It's changed everybody around the world. So that's my impact on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Would you say that the location of Voorhees College in Denmark, is it a pretty much a rural setting?
Absolutely. From Minnesota. So everything from not having Ubers, Lyfts, city buses, riding bikes, it's totally different. It is a very rural area, but I think that's what makes Voorhees amazingly beautiful because it's a small area. We're a family. I love Voorhees so much, and I'm glad to be here to represent my school. But absolutely, it's a very rural area. It's a very small location. And other than that, I think it's no harder than any other school, but it is hard because we are in a small location, if I answer that correctly.
Absolutely. Would you say that the rural setting possibly contributed to it being easier to mitigate the spread of the virus because persons are not so, because the area is not so densely populated?
I don't agree because, sometimes small areas can be a big cause of viruses, if I must say. But because of COVID-19 spread it everywhere, it was in our hands. It was in our power to keep clean and stay safe. So regardless of where we are located, I don't necessarily think because we're small, it's going to prevent us from getting COVID-19. Absolutely not.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. McCorn, we heard York and Voorhees College share some points about the beginning of the pandemic in the spring semester. Now let's shift to the beginning of the following fall semester, beginning of the new academic year, after students are returning from summer break, having reconnected with families and being able to really process what this new norm is going to be going into the academic year. What hesitancies, if there were any, did you have as a student returning to the campus?
Well, thank you for that question, Pastor Brown. I know I had a lot of hesitancies, just like many of my, cohorts, just in speaking with folks that I know, because knowing Livingstone, you know that the majority of our folks come from neighborhoods and communities that were hardest hit, right? So people going back home, being with their families, being around the people there, and then coming back to school, there are those hesitancies. But I do think that Livingstone did a great job, to our credit, of making sure that once folks came back in, that we were on testing. We made sure that we tested every 2 weeks, and then shifted to every week, to make sure that that we were staying on top of it. There was so much COVID education going around the campus, seeing flyers up, having public service announcements come out. So, I was very hesitant. I was one of those people. I actually didn't come back right away. I didn't come back on campus until this semester, even though we had opened the campus last semester, or rather, the spring semester when they had opened it in fall. And so, it took a while, and I kind of watched from afar as everything kind of got back on track, and I saw the school's response, and I saw, as an institution, and then I saw the student body's response. And so the hesitancies, of course, are, you think you're going to catch it. And as someone who had the virus, being around other people who do, like, even, when you think you're being proactive, it's like one of those things, you can never be proactive enough. And so we learned a lot of that firsthand. We saw some of our peers pass away from, either the virus or from complications, that were associated with the virus. So, all of these things that have happened since, have kind of like, in some ways have kind of stoked the flames of, like, oh God, we were more afraid, just saying things. But I think it is the school's response, our institution's response, that has really kind of calmed a lot of those fears and, those hesitancies that have been there, just from making sure that they stay in front of it. And, so I applaud my school, because, like I said, I was one of the most hesitant people coming in. So, yeah.
Thank you. What living accommodations did Livingstone make for you all returning back to campus, still under the constraints of the pandemic?
Yeah. So, I mean, the good thing, I'll say good, was that because our on-campus enrollment was down, we were able to spread folks out. So everyone wasn't, just right on top of each other. There was a little bit more space on campus. You saw that, people, our honors dorm, there are 4 floors, you're kind of getting more spaced out between, making sure that people are not right there on top of each other, staying in rooms, having roommates, things of that nature. So, that was fantastic. And then I think there was probably, the school bent a little bit on, I stay in, it is campus housing, but it is off campus. And, we have a little bit more isolation out here. So they made sure that, that there were people that could stay in in this housing as well. They were a little bit more lenient on who could stay, just so that we could make sure that everyone was comfortable and spaced out, and that we were, living by the COVID guidelines that, were coming from the CDC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. McCorn, for sharing that. Southern University, as members of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, SWAC, much of your revenue, your fan base buy-in, comes from your overall support and stems from your popularity, be it on the gridiron, through the infamous human jukebox, or football game rivalries between schools such as Grambling State or Jackson State universities. How did COVID-19 impact your athletic and recreational activities on campus?
Thank you, Pastor Brown, for that question. As many of you know, Southern University is famously known for their football team and for the human jukebox. They're very strong in the tradition and the pride of Southern University. So taking away those monumental aspects of what contribute to making Southern University what they are, it was a huge shift. It was a huge shift for not only the students who participate in these extracurriculars or the students who attend the university, but it was also a huge shift for those in the communities, because being a part of SWAC, it's a family thing. It's a family thing. Many alumni travel near and far, East Coast, West Coast, international, and they come back home because they want to celebrate the currentness and reminisce on their time at Southern. So it was out of place not having that homecoming, not having that home feeling. And also there were a lot of restrictions and cease and desist with our programmings that we had, with Spring Fest, with proms, with any large gatherings that we would typically have. We couldn't have them because of the governor's restrictions and his mandates. So coming back with these programs and activities for the following semester, there were new rules implemented because our numbers increased. We're up to 7,000 students. So we had to figure out a way how to accommodate such a large number with this new circumstance that we're in. So we partnered with the local community outreach health center. We tried to do the temperature checks. We did the mask mandates on campus in and out of the buildings. We had hand sanitizer stations posted throughout the campus. And we're just trying to adjust to this new norm, adjust to the difference that we had prior to COVID-19.
Thank you so much for sharing. As I consider all of the reflections that you all have given, I can't help but think how our nation went through this same thing literally a century ago. And the institutions that were established then, how did they respond to the pandemic? How did they show their resiliency to survive and make it through and still be here to one day confer degrees upon you very fine people? Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I'd like to extend to you now the opportunity to reflect on personal motivations to act. So this next question is the same for all of you. Answer it in any order, in any fashion you desire. Why have you decided to engage in a vaccine outreach project with all that you all have going on? We've got fraternity members on the line, student body persons who are involved, all the activities that you are involved in on campus. Why would you, and under this pandemic, why would you add something else to your plate? Why would you be a part of this vaccine outreach project? And what do you think this vaccine will do for these various environments?
I personally, well, first question, as you asked, well, why would we, participate in this engagement? I did this personally, not just to, be seen or have the name or none of that, but because this is something so important. There are people that, have the vaccine or don't have the vaccine. Let's get a feel of how we could spread more information of what we can do to get more people to get the vaccine and understand other people's reasonings as well. So I'm more so being informed as well as being engaged. So being informed and being engaged at the same time. What was the second question again? I'm sorry.
The second question was, how do you think this vaccine will affect these environments? What do you think it will do for these environments?
Honestly, that's a tricky question because I'm still, I haven't had the vaccine yet, and I do plan on getting it. But at the same time, as I'm being informed, there's so many, this and that and that. But at the end of the day, I guess I'm on the forefront of, okay, what, like you said, what is it going to do for the community? What is it going to do for people? I don't want to say I don't know, but honestly, I want to say, I just want to stay informed. There are people out there that are dealing with other sicknesses that can maybe get the vaccination and they could still get sick from both of, things combining, if that makes sense. Hopefully, I guess just continue to stay informed. I can't really answer that just because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but just staying informed, I guess. I don't know exactly what it could
It's no right or wrong. Thank you. You just answered the question. You expressed your mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next scholar. Who wants to jump in there? Do I need to repeat the question?
Yeah, please repeat the question.
Absolutely. Why would you, and why have you decided to take part in this vaccine outreach project? And what do you think this vaccine will do for these environments of college campuses?
So the reason why that I joined the vaccine outreach program is that I believe wholeheartedly in the sciences. I believe that the vaccine is the first step into helping us return to what would seem to be a new normal, with us being able to cope with the new reality that we have, but we have a new protection against this virus, right? We have this new protection, the vaccine. And I recently got the vaccine about a month or so ago. I got Moderna. And to say the very least, it was a not so great experience when I got the second shot. But it was just my body's immune response kind of reacting to the vaccine. And just, I wanted to set an example as well, to just practice what I preach, and helping people stay informed about the vaccine, helping people understand why research had to be rushed in order for us to have this vaccine, in order to fight against this deadly pandemic. And I really want us to move forward and have a better sense of what we can do, and knowing that we have some sort of protection, and knowing that now Governor Cuomo has made it available to all communities of color, and those who are without. They are now able to get the vaccine, and they're able to have this protection against the virus, to be able to return to a post-pandemic normal. Being able to visit their family members, being able to visit their loved ones, being able to go out and experience their life again. And it may not be the same thing as post-pandemic, where we lived our lives freely and without a doubt in our minds, and now we're more aware, and we need to be self-aware of our actions, and that's what the vaccine is able to provide us, and returning into a new normal.
Thank you so much. Real quick before we move to the next scholar, anyone in our audience that may have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will acknowledge those when we come to the conclusion of these last two. All right. Let's see. We have two left.
I'll go ahead and take it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So my perspective, and the reason that I've done this is really because I'm an emerging sociologist, and so I look at okay, well, how does this affect us socially? And I see, and we all have seen that the communities that are hardest hit are those who have the most at stake, right? We see people who already don't have much, in terms of monetary gain. So, people who live at or below the poverty line, they're getting hit hardest. And then Black and brown folks. And so, because those are my folks, because those are folks that I'm in community with, it is my priority to make sure that they're in the best, that they have the most knowledge, that they know as much as they can, and then that they're equipped with the most resources. And so, being a part of this initiative, definitely seemed like the way to do that, the way to, get this information out to people, especially young folks who, may not know as much and may not be seeking the information as actively, so trying to bring that information to them. And then, what I think it'll do for our communities, I'm praying that, it makes us look a little bit differently at this, because we know that we have been taken advantage of, by people in scientific communities that claim to have our best interests at heart. And so there is a distrust within, my community, our community as Black folks. And so I want to help to take away some of that stigma, at least in terms of the vaccine, so that we can get covered. Because, we all know what's happened with, situations such as, the Tuskegee experiments. And so trying to, really break down, some of the impediments, that we have as a people when trying to, move forward in terms of the sciences, as Michelle was saying. So, I really hope that is the outcome of an initiative like this. And I'm grateful that IFYC has, come up with this, and that, all of us are working in community to bring this information to our people.
Thank you very much. Last but certainly not least.
So as you said, Pastor Brown, we are campus leaders. So it's our responsibility as campus leaders to spread awareness. And it's important for us to redirect the narrative surrounding COVID and the vaccines, because like William just said, there's a fear with trusting with the scientific community because of the past discrimination against Black people. And so it's important that we educate ourselves as thoroughly as we can about COVID and the vaccine, so that we can go out and educate our communities, so that we can decrease the spreading, we can decrease the hospitalization rates, the mortality rates, because at the end of the day, vaccinations are important. They're important to prevent the spread of diseases. They are important. And also, I took on this chance to speak on the panel because I recently had COVID, and I wanted to share my experience with everyone, and also want to gain more knowledge about it. And having COVID, it's an eye opener because I never thought I would get it. You know, I took all the precautionary measures to not get it, but in the end, I was diagnosed. I was positive for COVID. And what it does, it drains you of all energy. You have no motivation to get out of bed. You don't have the energy. You don't have the will to do anything. And it's also a psychological burden. And so I know I didn't like those feelings. So I don't want other people to feel that way. So I'm pushing the knowledge. I'm pushing the resources. I'm pushing and trying to motivate people to get the vaccine. Trust me, having COVID, it's not fun at all. It's not. And so you should do all you can to try to protect yourself and your health and protect others.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you all so much for sharing. We do have a few questions in the chat, and some of them, I'll just go ahead and put them out there. And a few students don't know, I know we have some administrators on the line that may be able to shed some light. The first one is, will vaccines that are not Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson suffice for international students returning to the U.S. for the fall semester? And I don't know if that's a campus policy question, or do we have anyone that can speak to that?
I'm not sure because I'm not aware of the other vaccines. I know of AstraZeneca and I know of BioNTech. Some of the recent vaccines that have been put into other countries like Germany and Britain. But that's something you may have to ask an administrator, because I only know about the Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer, about those vaccines, and I can explain it to you based on the knowledge that I've had and that I've learned through by those vaccines. So I would say ask your campus man, like ask someone in the administration and see what they say. I can't really speak to that in terms of those questions.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and say, as long as the vaccine has the emergency approval of the CDC, that is an acceptable vaccination. Although it may not be as popular as Pfizer, Moderna, or whatnot, but as long as it has the emergency approval of the CDC, FDA and approved CDC, I'm sure that that's going to be an acceptable vaccination.
Thank you.
And I would agree with you, Dr. Parrish, as well. Southern University will probably have a list of approved vaccines, as she stated, that's approved by the CDC and also by the FDA. And if it's on if it's on that list, then it's acceptable.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much. All right, I see one more. What approaches will be used on college students to convince them to take one of the vaccines? What marketing strategies? What is our plan to get students to take the vaccine once they return to campus?
Yeah.
Hello, Pastor Brown.
Hi.
This is I am Deidre Mackey
Yes.
from
Yes.
Southern University.
Southern.
Great
Yes.
to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Yes. So what I think the plan is not to cram it down the throats of the students. However, we are definitely encouraging individuals in all communities, all walks of life, to make sure that they try to take the vaccine. It is imperative. We understand that certain vaccines have, let's say, a 95% rate of protection, 90% on and on. So what we would like is for everyone to take the vaccine. This is going to protect that individual because let's say if you have taken the shot, let's say if you encounter the virus per se, you are not going, hopefully, not going to be on the ventilator. And you certainly, it's assumed that you will not perish from, let's say, any contraction as such. However, for individuals who are 100% unprotected, they are at risk. Okay. And so what we're trying to do is, totally take that factor out, and ensure that everyone's protected. Yes, there is some discomfort with the shoulder, perhaps fever, some, let's say, some little concerns, but that's nothing compared to, let's say, going to your grandmother and giving it to her, or let's say having someone who's on a ventilator for weeks and all of their organs shut down. This is a horrendous process, a slow death. And so those are our primary concerns. Now, most of you, everybody pretty much on this call, we're pushing for it. We actually endorse it. And let's say some universities are mandating it. The students must come back. At this, to date, Southern University Baton Rouge has not indicated for sure you must take it, no ifs, ands, or buts. So, however, it is my thought or my hope that the 24 or so ambassadors that we have on the line, or let's say just the origin, just the little source that's going to spread it out to all of the students when we get that, the SGAs and the major officers and individuals on the campuses to take it. And then this is going to endorse or certainly help our cause in spreading the word.
Amen. Amen. We're going to spread it like it's gospel. Hallelujah. Again, thank you, ambassadors. I know I've been calling you all scholars all evening. We're at the beginning of Freedom School, so I'm still in Freedom School mode. Ambassadors, shall I say, ambassadors. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Thank you to Livingstone College, Southern University and A&M College, Voorhees College, and York College for allowing me to share in this experience with you and your emerging leaders. You all are so fortunate to have great minds on your campuses, leaders of our race, our nation, and our mosaic world. Mr. Wade, I turn it back over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Reverend Brown, for facilitating and for giving us this opportunity, or for you giving us your time tonight and sharing as our moderator, to all of the panelists who gave great answers and who gave great comment and feedback. Thank you, Ms. Douglas, for even being transparent enough with us to share from your experience, which I believe is very pertinent. And conversations like these are very pertinent to our community and to our college students in the midst of so much conspiracy theory and Facebook philosophy. It's good to hear sound information tonight, and I'm so honored to have been able to host all of you. Now, as a student ambassador And as a president of the student body here at our institution, we do something where we want to give school spirit. Yes, we want to show school spirit. And I understand and I know that we are in a formal type of setting, but just for a little while, we're going to get a little out of that formal setting. And I'm going to shout out and I want to acknowledge some people, and then I want to get some institutions in on tonight. I do want to acknowledge my predecessor in student government. Carly Patterson was the 92nd Student Government Association president, and she is in the Zoom room, so I want to acknowledge her, as well as our 91st, our former Miss Livingstone College, Erica Prelude is here, and I do see some other frat members in the Zoom room. As well as on YouTube, I do see some members of Phi Beta Sigma of Fraternity Incorporated, and we thank God for all of you. And so all of the frats, all of the sororities who are represented. If we were in, there it is, Mr. P. If we were in Barrick Auditorium, we would have all of the stroll lines and all of the songs come out, but we're gonna sit down on Zoom here with us on tonight. I also want to give a special acknowledgement to. I don't want to mispronounce her name, but she did. She just finished speaking, so I'll say Sister Mackey. I believe it's pronounced Miss Deidre Mackey. I don't want to mess it up. If I did it all right.
Okay, close enough. It's Deidre, but close enough.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. See, if you don't know the first name, you can always put sister and then say the last name. That way you're covered on both bases. So thank you so much for contributing tonight, as well as I do know this first name because I have a cousin with this first name, Sister Tawana from Voorhees College. Thank you so much for being with us, as well as John Phelps is here, Sheila Beverly Skinner of York College. Thank you all so much for being.
Let's say Jean. Don't get it.
Jean. Okay, there it goes. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Jean, a woman.
Jean. All right.
And excuse the red because it should be pink. Okay.
But
we don't want to get
a beautiful color. Red is such a beautiful color.
You see the conversation is spilling out already. We
don't want to get it started now.
Wonderful. You see, you can't talk about Greek life with a bunch of Greek people on the line and not expect to see some Greek spirit on here. I want to shout out Voorhees College, all those who are members and who are students, faculty, and staff of Voorhees College. Show some school spirit. All right. We see Voorhees. Very good. Those of you who are students, members of York College. York College. Make some noise. All right. York College. Good. Southern University, A&M College of Baton Rouge. Where you at, Southern? Where you at?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Now, that was all beautiful. That was very cute and everything. And we thank God for all of you. However, there is only but one great institution in Salisbury, North Carolina. That was started in 1879 by Dr. Joe Charles Brown.
Go ahead, Justin.
Livingstone College. I need somebody to help me rock the blue and black. You understand?
Come on.
And you see the black. So if we had a Zende King, we would shout out who you with, and we would reply LC.
LC.
There you go. And so we were able to shout all of that out, and we are just so grateful again for all of you being here with us. Again, to the Interfaith Youth Corps and all who participate and work alongside us as student ambassadors who have participated tonight. We do thank God for you, and we appreciate all of you all's participation with us tonight. And I also want to make sure I do highlight our newly elected student government officials and royal court officials who are on YouTube and who are on the Zoom room. I appreciate you all for being here with us. Matter of fact, I think I just got an update as to who else may be on here. Okay, nope, I was getting a proud of you message. Thank you. All right. So now that we are at the conclusion of our time. I appreciate you all for letting me host you. I pray that I did a great job or a half decent job. I tried the very best to do this. You know, Dr. P, when she tells you you have to do it, you cannot tell no to Dr. Parrish. And so I appreciate her for extending this opportunity. And with that being said, thank you all so much and have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Wait a minute, we want to pause and say it. I would like to take this time to allow each coach from the school who has gotten these young men and women. I would like for Tawana Chenault Hembry from Voorhees College to please say something to us today to greet us on this evening.
I just want to say, Dr. Parrish, thank you so much for allowing Voorhees College to be a part of this greatness. You have some phenomenal individuals, and I do want to echo what my ambassador Serenity says. It is all of our job to make sure that we are well informed so that we can be well engaged. So thank you so very much for the opportunity to serve. Fantastic.
All right. And I'm getting some messages that maybe a few students have some comments or something to say. Would you raise your hand? And I can actually see that. And when I say raise your hand, I mean raise your hand in the Zoom, and I will be able to see your hand. We don't want any questions and or comments to go unaddressed this evening. I'm looking at all of the.
There was something posted, I think from a student a little bit earlier. Her question was, since a new side effect was reported, which is affecting young people's health, specifically heart conditions, how could we still talk about the benefits of the vaccine?
So, and I think I'm just going to piggyback on with what Deirdre Mackey actually said. The thing about the vaccination is that it's not, the one thing I will say, which is my opinion, and why it has not received full approval from the FDA, is because it perhaps we don't know that it does more good than harm, right? But this is the thing. What we do know is that if you get the vaccination, you 90% chance decrease your chance of passing away, and that's what we want to prevent. We want to prevent death. As of today, the United States has reported 600,000 deaths due to the coronavirus, due to the virus. And so that's what we want to prevent. There may be side effects. There are going to be other things, other dangers that wait to assail you as it relates to the virus. However, the one thing that the vaccine does prevent is death, and there is nothing greater than life. And that's what we want to preserve on this day. You are young men and women. You are beautiful. You are our future, and we want you to be further on down the line. Reverend Brown pointed out a good fact. 100 years ago, many of our institutions were already established, and there was a pandemic, and your institution survived it because you're still here. You are getting degrees from those institutions. So let's just survive again. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do. It's at this moment in life, it's time to stay alive. Throughout the course of this year, I have witnessed perhaps 25 deaths in my personal circle, not overall, but in my personal circle. So I just want to encourage you all to protect yourself and protect others, protect your families, protect your friends. And at this moment, the way in which we can do that is to get the vaccine, right?
As well, Dr. Parrish, let me say, yes, you're correct. There is some concern. I was on a Zoom call with the CDC. Some kind of way I have it on my phone where whenever they have a major meeting, I'm able to get in. But the end discussion was indicating that, yes, there were approximately something like 80-something males from the age of 12 to 24, something like that, after, let's say, hundreds of thousands of the shots for their age group. They were concerned about, let's say, an inflammatory response, which actually just impacted the pericardium, which is the covering that is like the sheer tissue on the outside of the heart. So now they were able to treat this with let's say inflammatory drugs, Aleve, let's say some other type of mild medication. So they indicated that the individuals did not perish from it. However, let's say when they would lean forward, they would feel a little chest pain. When they lean back, it would go away. Well, this was due to, a little bit of stress. And so at this time, they're able to give individuals an inflammatory drug in order to calm that side effect down. So it's considered as a side effect, but it was not fatal for those individuals.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that. Okay. And also, would you like to greet us? You are Pew, both of you from Southern University. Let's give a shout out to Southern. Say something about your institution and you got in these young men and women.
Okay. Well, guys, in our cohort, we have approximately 24, and we love it. We love the fact the students are actually very dedicated to this particular cause. And yes, we're right here on the bluff. You all heard about the human jukebox, the Jaguar Nation. Let me throw a little Jaguar in here so you guys can see it. But so, of course, you know that Southern University is the largest HBCU in America. The system is the largest HBCU in America, and it consists of 5 colleges that's on the bluff of the Mississippi, right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On the Baton Rouge campus, we have three campuses: Southern University Baton Rouge, Southern University Law Center, as well as the Southern University Agricultural Science Center. So then we have Southern University Shreveport and Southern University New Orleans. So we love this big Jaguar Nation family, and we love you guys because, let's say, all of these institutions that are represented, we support each other. We might rival a little bit, but we support each other. And so we have everybody's back. So I bring you greetings from the Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. As well, Mr. Pugh, if you have something to say, or
you summed it up. You summed it all up. But I do want to say that I enjoyed the panel. It's glad to see this large participation in this effort. And I just want to make sure that we get out and spread the word and convince as many people to get the vaccine as possible, before the year ends, so we can get back to some type of normalcy. So once again, great job, everyone who was on tonight. And let's continue to keep up the good work and spread the word.
Fantastic. And we have 2 reps from York College. We have Jean Phelps and we have Beverly Skinner. Would you 2 ladies like to greet us on this evening?
Absolutely, absolutely. First off, I want to thank you ever so much, Dr. Parrish, ever so much for organizing this phenomenal panel discussion. You are the best. This was really awesome that you pulled together. We want to thank you ever so much from our hearts for inviting us and allowing us to be included and be a part of this. Your college is a part of the City University of New York, which is made up of 23 different campuses. We're the campus that's located in South Jamaica in Queens, New York, near JFK Airport. And it is our pleasure to be a part of this whole group. And we now have 20 students that are the vaccine ambassadors.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
Michelle Williams, she is excited. She is fired up and ready to go, as we say in the NAACP, fired up. And ready to go, as you can see by what she said. But on behalf of my college and our president, Dr. Bernicia Eames, who has only been at your college for less than 2 years, who has moved us forward, as soon as this pandemic hit, the first thing she did was started a fundraiser, raised a whole lot of money to be able to support our students who had lost jobs, to be able to support our students and do food banks, to be able to feed our students. She brought with her in just a short period of time such care and support for our students. We are grateful to have Dr. Eames as our president and leading our campus. Your college, under her leadership, became a mega vaccination site in New York, doing 3,000 vaccinations a day. 3,000 vaccinations a day were done in our gym at York College, which sits in a the neighborhood that needed it. Very few people had at that point in time, if you look at the statistics, were actually being able to receive the vaccines in our neighborhoods. When they put that mega site in South Jamaica, 3,000 people a day were able to get vaccinated. So again, we're excited to be a part of this program, and we're so happy that you invited us, Dr. P, as they call me sometimes, Dr. P also. So we got the same name and we wear the same colors, Dr. P. So thank you, my sister.
Fantastic.
Sheila Beverly Skinner, you can take it away for the rest of your college.
So at your college, I'm famous for the woo! Let's go. So that's what I'm bringing to you all, bringing the energy. And just want to say thank you so much for including us. Our scholars are phenomenally fantastic. And I am just so honored and privileged to be on the same screen as all the other scholars and ambassadors from all the other colleges and universities. And just want to say thank you so much for including us. And we are going to get this work done because it's just that important. And I just want to say thank you all so very much. And it's absolutely wonderful. And of course, I just say, Michelle! A little biased, so you know that. But yay.
Fantastic. All right. And I just want to, so do we have any more questions or comments from any of the audience members? Want to make sure that all hearts and minds are clear.
Dr. P, we not necessarily any more questions, but again, just phenomenal job. Thank you for the inclusion. And I want to make sure that I remind our ambassadors that, at the HBCUs, we always talk about, rivaling with each other, and that's what we do. However, we are, just know that, Dr. Mackey, myself, Dr. Perry, we are for the 107. This is work that we have been doing. There are 107 historically Black colleges and universities left in this world. This is who we are, and this is what we do. We have been doing this for centuries, and so now you can clap your hands and take your part in doing this great work. So years from now, centuries from now, people will begin to talk about the work that the 107 has done. So count yourself amongst that talented 10 that we always talk about, and let's lead this charge.
Fantastic. Okay, so I want everybody to turn your cameras for our photo op. Remember, we're gonna have a photo op. I just want to thank you again. I bring you greetings where students matriculate proudly beneath our maples and our oaks at Livingstone College under the leadership of our 12th president, Dr. Jimmy R. Jenkins Sr. We are elated to be a part of this outstanding opportunity and the grant afforded to us from the Interfaith Youth Corps. And at this moment, as we end our program, our COVID-19 conversation with college students, we're going to take this photo and I will send out a report to our coaches regarding this. Turn those cameras on. Kareem Altador, is that camera on? Juliet McKenna.
Paul,
You guys are beautiful.
I need one of those Zion Wesley Institute shirts.
Who has a Zion Wesley Institute shirt? William McCord?
You know it's me. You know it's me.
I need one, brother. I need one. I need it.
I gotta pull this out.
I love it.
I'm gonna send you the link. I got you.
Bet.
Right. Sandra, iPhone, turn on that camera for me. Shima Allah. Yasmir
Make sure
Rashada.
you get my alpha pin now. Make sure you get that. Make sure you get
my
that.
Lord.
Make sure you get that.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you get that. Yeah. No.
Shout out to Beta Kappa.
I have two screens. Okay, I have two screens.
Yeah.
So I want everybody. All right. Okay. Oh, you look beautiful. Who is that, Joanna? You look beautiful, girl. All right. Carly, you look gorgeous. All right. So keep it still for me. Let me do this on count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, wait 1 second. Don't you move it because I'm going to go to the next screen. Oh, you are beautiful. Look at how beautiful you are. Diamonds and rubies cannot compare. All right. Let me find this next one. All right. Soraya, Gwenda's iPad, Juliet, Bria Griffith, iPhone, Clark's iPhone, Anita. Vivara is in Greece. It's 4 o'clock, probably 5 o'clock in the morning now in Greece, and she's still with us. We thank you so much. Felicia, Sawa, Shima. All right.
Shima.
Desiree, you looking good, girl. I love it. All right. Anita, are you there? Gwenda's iPad. Anaya Pink, Erica Prelude, Thomas Herbert. Let's see those beautiful faces. Melissa Garcia.
I see you, Rain.
All right. Are you all ready? I want you to give me a smile. You're looking good. You're looking good. Bria Griffith. Don't make me come to Wilson, North Carolina. All right. Are you all ready? One. Let me make my view bigger. Full screen. Oh, you look gorgeous. Gwenda and her husband. Hey, husband. Okay, y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're gonna do a 3 again. 1, 2,
Oh my God.
3. Francesca, you rubbing your eye. Lord have mercy, Francesca. All right. Okay, beautiful people. I want to again thank everybody so much for joining us on this evening. You are fantastic. We had a wonderful job. We have such amazing students. I'm just really confident that my future is in the hands of such amazing young people. And also, I want to thank our coaches who are guiding these young people along the way. All right. Thank you so much.
Dr. Parrish, I just want to say one other thing. We really, really thank you. This is an awesome opportunity. And as well, I do have other colleagues that are faculty on the call. And just wave, do a little quick wave. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore them and the students. You guys are awesome. And yes, just like Doravia said, you are the leaders. So, hey, you know, everybody will follow you.
Call them by name, Mackie. Don't have them wait. Let's call them by name. Recognize them. They're here.
Dr. Deirdre Ball, Deirdre Atkins Ball, Desiree Ephraim, Mr. Eric Pugh, and okay, wait, what other faculty? Let me see. And I know you know all my students. I have a lot of students on here. So, you know, we graciously thank every single person who's on here. I mean, some of them are matriculating in nursing and all of this. Guys, this is just going to make you better. I promise. And so we love everybody on here, and I hope we can continue to do these types of panels and activities together. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thomas Hobart, your hand is raised. Is that on purpose? All right. Okay, so fantastic. Again, thank you all for joining us, and have a good evening.